Hey there, it's Mitch Goldberg. Welcome to my live stream, Be the Boss of Your Money. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you here. My live stream is called Be the Boss of Your Money. It's about personal finance. It's about a lot of things. It's about investing tips. It's about making you better with your money so that you can have the best possible future that you envision. It's about business strategy. There are so many things to talk about, and I'm having a special guest today. Her name is Rebecca Brooks. I'll let you find out all about her. She is a financial coach. She empowers women to achieve financial freedom so that they can live the most adventurous life that they can, I guess. It's a great niche, but she posts great content on LinkedIn, and she posted something today which kind of sparked an outcry about Robinhood. So we're going to talk about Robinhood. What is the deal? Because Robinhood has a lot of defenders. It's like a community, and people are just really defensive about it. We don't want to make people defensive. We want to talk about Robinhood and make sure you have the details to know that you're doing the right thing with your money, or at least the best thing for you. So I'm just going to roll my quick intro real quick. Just stick with me. This is going to be a good show. We're talking about Robinhood. They just settled with the Securities and Exchange Commission. They paid a fine of $65 million right before they're supposed to be taken public by Goldman Sachs. So there's a lot to talk about. So let's roll the intro, and then I'm going to bring in Rebecca. Here we go. They're perceived maybe as a threat to the industry. A lot of people are knocking. Excuse me, I jumped the gun there. How are you, Rebecca?
I'm well. I'm having a fantastic day. How about you, Mitch?
I'm really well, thank you. It's a great day. We had a snow day today in New York, so I feel like maybe we're closer to where you are up in the mountains, maybe.
Yeah, I'm currently in Pennsylvania with family for the holidays, so we got some snow too, and got to go play in it a little bit today.
That is terrific. So
Yeah.
you brought up an idea. So here's the idea. Every day I do this. Well, not every day. Every Monday through Thursday at 4:30 p.m. I do a live stream called "Be the Boss of Your Money," and I love doing it. It's just a lot of fun, and it's kind of like my main marketing thing now. And every day I search for a topic of what to talk about. And because of your social media post on LinkedIn, I'm like, that's what I have to talk about. It's the big story. I was asked by a journalist at NBC a few days ago, what do I think the biggest stories are of 2020? And I said, Robinhood, by far and away. I think it's the biggest business story of the year. I saw your post, and I'll put it on the screen, and we just take something off the screen, and I'm going to show your post. Okay.
Sounds good.
When we're live and I'm working all the controls, it's part of the beauty of homemade live. So stock trading at Robinhood is getting some heat lately. And honestly, I'm surprised it took this long. I agree with you. I'm surprised also.
Right.
This mobile trading app is both a blessing and a curse to the modern trader. On the one hand, Robinhood makes trading more accessible and helps people grow their wealth. People who've never invested before are able to start with very little money and can learn a lot in the process. I agree with you 100%. On the other hand, the exact strength is also its weakness. Its exact strength is also its weakness. If users are not doing their due diligence, informing themselves properly about the trades they make, and don't have an actual strategy, it turns into glorified gambling, and the lessons learned may be more expensive than intended. So we could go on about it, but I think you make a great point. Curious to know if you use Robinhood. So if anyone is out there watching this live stream, if you have a question for Rebecca or myself, please hit us up in the comments. I will definitely see the questions. And if you're watching this in the replay, welcome to you as well. So first thing first, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a financial coach, and I think that's a very important function. Tell me about you?
Thank you. Yeah. So yes, I'm a financial coach. Like you mentioned earlier, I focus a lot on helping women in particular and empowering them to, achieve financial wellness, get to financial freedom, right? And a big part of that is knowing what to do with your money for your investments. But I spend most of my time more on the having the cash flow, creating the cash flow to get to where you can invest consciously, but, dealing with a lot of people who are considering the DIY approach. And so, they need to be very wary of, the pros and the cons of that. And so that's really where this came from today.
I love this. So if you help people with the DIY approach, and you're not a financial advisor, right?
I'm not. So I don't
Okay.
actually manage assets.
No. So you don't. So you're like, what's the word? You're an honest person here. You're an unbiased person here. You know what I mean? You have no axe to grind because you don't care who people go to. You're really just truly helping people be better with their money. I guess you help with budgeting.
Yeah, that is a big part of it.
Flow.
Budgeting, cash flow, helping people to navigate just their habits and their behaviors with their money, why they do what they do, so that they can have the funds to talk to advisors and talk to planners and use, have some money to actually put into Robinhood if they choose, or whatever they decide route they decide to go.
Look, whatever avenue they could go for help. Do it yourself. I really like what you do. I read I was on your website. I was on your LinkedIn profile, and we've been connected for a while. I don't know how long we've been connected for, but your posts always come up in my stream, which means I'm clicking on them because the algorithm knows I like your posts. Okay. And if you don't click on my posts, that's fine. I'm not.
I definitely do.
Insulted. Just going to edit you right out. So that is awesome. So, and when you posted this today, it coincided with this big news story. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, charges Robinhood with misleading customers about how it makes money. And some of the comments in your post, a few of us made similar comments about if the product is free, then you are the product. And I think what you want to do is you want to help people avoid mistakes so they can reach their goals faster. I guess it's one of the things, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And that's really why I, focus a lot on sharing information like this, starting conversations like this is, regardless of how you decide to invest, you need to do so intentionally and with all the facts, with all the information. And, I think a lot of people are very concerned and hesitant of, risk or taking the wrong advice because, somebody's just trying to make a buck. And so we need to talk about things like this so that everybody can understand what they're getting into. Okay.
I think that says it all. I think that's the basis of the SEC complaint is people need to know, people need full disclosure,
Absolutely.
And Robinhood to me has done a lot of amazing things. And it's such a big story because unlike the advent of the online traders, the discount online trading firms in the late 90s, this is a little different because it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know a lot of people who have Robinhood accounts, it's become like a community for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely is one of those things where there's a lot of brand loyalty. They have really found this amazing way to, I think, market the platform and to bring people into this fold where it definitely is very tight knit, and people, like you mentioned earlier, they can get a little bit defensive when they feel like somebody's speaking against it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the worst way to convince somebody of something is to attack them with all kinds of information and facts because people just dig in. So we don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't knock anyone who uses Robinhood. And I guess you could say, yes, there's no commissions, but there's payment for order flow. But at the end of the day, I think it's really hard to judge. But even after this fine, Robinhood still took in $35 million more than what Robinhood clients saved in commissions. So I'm not sure yet if people are you better off using an E-Trade or a Schwab because they're offering free trades now also. But everybody wants this thing called order flow. So when consumers like us, when we buy and sell stocks, those trades have to go somewhere, and there's a tiny bit of money to be made on each trade. But if you can get a massive amount of volume and scale it up using technology, then the dollars start to add up.
Hmm.
So there's a fight for order flow in companies like Citadel and other trading firms. I'm just getting into like the the jargony stuff here. But what people don't understand is it's not really free. You're probably paying a little bit more per trade. Is it
Hmm.
that much of a difference that it's going to ruin you? Probably not. And I'm not really sure what the SEC is trying to. Yes, they want full disclosure. But I think the more important thing from my point, and maybe from your point, is we just want to make sure investors have the tools necessary so that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that really the thing is too is like what you're saying with maybe you're saving a little, maybe you are saving a more per trade, but where it really gets interesting with Robinhood is the way that they're using notifications, those human behavioral tactics to
Behavioral engineering,
exactly.
social engineering. That's the term, social
Yeah,
engineering.
exactly. So the way that they're doing that to increase the volume so that, and because of that volume, it is ending up being more expensive and you're maybe buying or selling at times that you shouldn't, but you're encouraged to spend so much time on the app making trades. And this is what we were hearing in the comments of the post today was that, it was getting so much for this one gentleman. He was like, I was on the app 10, 20 times a day. And it was definitely not helping me when I really did want to be a more long-term investor. And I wanted to, I had bigger goals, but I was just constantly using the app because it was always saying like, hey, come back,
Yeah.
And so that I think is where the money kind of is coming from.
I think you said it best. That's what CNBC should have in their article. Exactly. I think the way you said it is perfect.
Thank you.
It's like any other social media. It's Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all over social media and I love using it, but they've learned how to give you that little dopamine hit constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And the more dopamine hits you get, it wears off. So you need bigger and bigger dopamine hits. And it becomes like, dopamine is an addictive thing.
Yeah. And I think that, not only that too, but what some other people were talking about as well is like the risks are what they are and, comparing it to gambling. And it's like, but when we start thinking that investing is gambling, like that's not healthy. That's not okay. And there's nothing really wrong with, I think, social media can be used for good for sure. Like those encouragements can really help, thinking Fitbit and other programs like that, right? They're like, hey,
It's a great example.
come go do your step goal. You didn't do it today, or whatever. So that can be really helpful. I think the trouble is just bringing it together with investing where, it can already be a point of weakness for a lot of people. And so it's just this recipe where they really need to toe a line here to make sure that they don't make more trouble for themselves.
So it sounds like Robinhood has a little bit more social responsibility than maybe they're providing to their community.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Definitely in the form of education. That's what a lot of people were saying today as well, is that they really just need to make sure that whoever is using their platform, not only are they transparent about how they're making their money, but these novices who are totally new to the game and trying to buy the dip and, doing whatever, they have more information. So they're not totally in the dark and essentially gambling.
Right. A lot of people think because, I lived through the tech wreck and I'm here and I'm not trying to be one of these people. Oh, when I was your age, I promise you I'm not. I remember it so well. And it was such a tough time. I mean, Microsoft went all the way down so much and it took like 15 years for that stock to get back to its 2000 peak.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine a Robinhood trader waiting 15 years to get back to even on something?
Mm-hmm. Especially in times like now, like that could be devastating. I mean, just like it was.
like a week is an eternity, let alone a year. I have a couple of friends who trade on the app. One of them, he's a really good friend, and he's a good deal younger than I am. And, he's doing great on it. And he loves to text me how he's doing. And I'm very happy for him. But he's like, we should like do this together professionally. And I'm like, you're like, he's like already, he's ready to pick out the new name for the hedge fund already. And I'm like, slow down a little, buddy. You slow your roll. We're not really up to that point. To me, this is a sign of an incredibly powerful bull market, and you want to take advantage of the bull market. You invest to be in the bull markets, but you have to be, in my opinion, you have to be in the bear markets to get to the bull markets, because it's a little tough to time. But I think a lot of people have the thought that, well, I'll get out before it blows up. I'll know when to walk away. I'll see the warning signs, but people have a tendency to go back and keep doing what has worked in the past. And I think that's where the blow up is, when, a stock that goes from 100 to 600, then down to 500 and 400, and people keep thinking it'll come back. And it's just like gambling. And you keep thinking, I'm just in a cold streak. I'll come back.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. And when you made that point this morning, I had not thought about the relationship to the crash for Microsoft and everything. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Mitch is exactly right. That's exactly what's happening.
Unfortunately. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately.
So, the secret sauce, I have my notes here. That's why I keep looking down. I think hey, when I get here, I'm prepared, it's and you can't, it's impossible to read my handwriting.
You're worse than a doctor.
I am. So they have a lot of bells and whistles. The secret sauce is the bells and whistles, and they've created a community, which I think is a lot of fun. The free product, just want to make sure I don't miss anything. They're going public soon. I don't know if I don't know if a lot of people know this. Goldman Sachs is taking Robinhood public. I think now, after they raised $1 billion recently. They have like an $11 billion valuation now as a company, based on what the latest investors paid in the private market for Robinhood shares. And when you go public, it's a whole different level of scrutiny, because now, your reports are all public. Everything really has to be perfect. So I'm wondering how this changes for Robinhood, and if that means they have to give their investors a better deal. You have to question, is it, are they going to make up for that in volume and whatnot? And what do they have to do to keep attracting more and more people? What could they do to grow? Just keep doing the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but that is exactly the thing, is like, if they're wanting to do this, they're wanting to go public, they're now, they're acting as a fiduciary. Like, are they following through on that?
Fiduciary, yes. That's what a lot of the regulars are saying. That's what the regulators are saying, is they have a fiduciary to not just bring people in. The good thing is, hey, they've introduced so many people to investing and to the stock market. But are they bringing people in as investors, or do people think that, oh, this is investing, it's great, I bought Zoom at 300, I sold it at 400 like a week later? Is that really investing? And before someone says, oh, what are you knocking making money in the market? I'm not knocking it. If that's what's suitable for you, then go ahead and do it. Not knocking anybody. But I think there's, you haven't seen when, the stock you bought at 600 goes down to 6, which is what happened in the tech wreck. That's all, right?
Yeah.
It's a warning. I want to play a quick video clip. I made a couple of videos about Robinhood and my thoughts last April. So I'm just going to run this by real quick. Okay. Stand by, please. They're perceived maybe as a threat to the industry. A lot of people are knocking Robinhood, and as a byproduct of that, they're knocking the people who are using Robinhood, which are millennials. Oh, what do they know? Oh, they're making a big mistake. Another thing is, you see a lot of people knocking Robinhood who are in my space, the advisory space in the industry. All right. That was a little skippy. So that didn't go so well. That's part of the beauty of homemade live streams. It's still not quite perfect. Sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't. And
making the best of it, though, Mitch. You're doing great.
I'm doing the best I can. So I'll just do another one real quick. Okay, here we go. Show me the money. I have a lot of fun with live streaming. I'm a little goofy sometimes. It's my humor. A little
Yeah.
nerdy,
No,
but
you've got to make it fun though. It can be really dry, I
yeah.
think. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Do you
awesome.
think it's important to be able to pivot, in business, right? It's important to pivot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here we go.
I said that exact thing. I love it. I've made that joke. Yeah. That's fantastic.
All right. So I really appreciate your thoughts about Robinhood and the fiduciary and all that. You were terrific. I greatly appreciate it. So you have a website. How do we find it? What's the website address?
Yeah, so we're R&D Financial Coaching. For short, we call ourselves Rad Coaches. And so it's just radcoaches.com. And that's also our handle on all of our social media. And if anybody would like to connect, I'm always open to more connections on LinkedIn.
Okay, so it's Rebecca Brooks on LinkedIn. Are you on Insta also?
I am. Yeah, I'm on
we have
Insta.
to connect there then too.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and this was a blast, Mitch. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Thanks so much. I'll see you soon on LinkedIn.
See you in the feed.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. So thank you so much to Rebecca Brooks for taking a few minutes to join us. She has a really good handle on this whole subject, as you can see. So when I saw her post about it, it kind of blew up and just a ton of engagement. And it's just because it's such a passionate topic. And there were both financial advisors commenting and, non-financial advisors who are just users of the app commenting. And some people feel, well, we should use it and you have to be able to control yourself. And then some people are saying, well, they make it too hard to control yourself because they have that whole social engineering thing down. This is a debate that's going to go on for a very long time. I look at the Robinhood app in a lot of ways like a casino. Casinos are great at turning normal people into people who lose their minds a little bit and gamble a little bit more than they should. And maybe that's a bad view of it. So in Robinhood's credit, they did say that they fixed the problem. They're making sure people are getting best executions, and they're working with more market makers to make sure that their customers are taken care of properly. So we'll see how it goes, but something tells me this is not going to be the last that we hear on this subject. Thank you so much for joining me. You're watching my live stream, Be the Boss of Your Money, and I will be back on Monday. Thanks all.